I'm just going to block in some of this green because there's quite a bit of it. And of course it's darker than this, but at least I can use some of the paint that's here. Just get it on there. Some on this side, some on this side. There's sort of like an S shape to this picture. And you don't have to follow the picture 100%. I'm just using it as a reference for the colors and stuff. I just want to kind of tone like I did the last time. Just kind of want to tone this canvas. And this is just a cheap dollar store, Dollar Tree specifically. If you have one of those near you, just a cheap little thing, little plastic thing. You can get them at Five Below, and of course places like Hobby Lobby or Jerry's Auto. This just, or even Walmart or whatever. There's just cheap plastic things. But it is what I have right now. Just haven't brought myself to buy another one because I haven't been painting in a while. So this is what see how far this stuff goes. This is what I ended up with using because, again, I haven't been using this in a while. Now, if you're going for like straight Aposto effect, you can go right with this. You don't have to use a paintbrush. You can just go for it. I'm kind of just playing with this paint still, trying to figure out how it's behaving with all these things mixed together. It has everything mixed in here. This is the slow dry medium. It's the acrylic. It's the slow dry medium for the acrylics. It's the gel version of the same kind of concept, and then it's also heavy body in there. It's kind of a little bit of everything. So I was just curious to see how it would go. Oh, snap. No, whatever. What happens, I guess. Yeah, this is very thin, highly malleable, but whatever. It's something to start with. And now, there's something completely different. I'm going to go to a brush real quick just to get paint going. I just want to paint the edges real quick. Sort of, like I said, kind of toning canvas. Trying to keep my big head out of the camera as I can. Not adding any more paint yet. Just toning this up, like I said. Just kind of painting to the edge a little. Again, you don't have to do this. I don't usually. But like I said, since I have the extra paint and because I have the ability to get underneath here, I can actually paint to the edge. It doesn't have to go all the way across the edge for me. Hand's a little tired today, so I'm trying to assist it. My left hand. Most of us are slightly ambidextrous, so I'm slightly ambidextrous. I wouldn't consider myself, I can paint left-handed if I needed to. Yeah, see, there's a huge chunk of this right there. So it's kind of gumming up a little bit because of all the stuff that's in here. Kind of cool effect, though, if you want it to be that way. And I'm not too stressed about it because, again, I'm going to add more colors, but it'll work. Let's see here. I got some of the green laid down so that I can start adding color on top of here to get some interesting effects. So for the sake of argument, like I said, I have a little reference here that I'm using. You don't have to reference, you can do it by memory. I just wanted to try doing something I haven't done in a while. So you use a reference for painting. I'm going to go straight with this big old glob of paint right here. This blue paint. I'm going to go straight into the middle where the section of darkness I see right about in here. I just want to get sort of, what I'm trying to do is get some of this bluish green tone in here. I'm not going for perfection. All right. Just going for like color blocking basically. You get some of that shadowish kind of tone in there. Of course, you can always add red to get more of a purpler hue or some brown to darken it up a little bit, which I may very well do. If you see the light flickering that is, or coming on and off, that's our garage light. If I put both lights on, it makes the other camera kind of flicker. And it's not exactly pleasing to look at. So, all right, let's go a little darker. Just pushing some of that blue back in, but that's all right. Trying to darken it up a little. I'm going for a patch of darkness here and kind of mixing on the canvas. And this acrylic stuff, the medium allows me to kind of push it a little bit more than you traditionally can with acrylic. So I figure, might as well try. Let's clean the brush off real quick. Just a quick wipe. You don't have to go through a crazy amount of trouble. Put a little red tone in here. Purple this up a little. Purple, gray, green kind of effect. I might go a little harder on the darkness, but that's pretty close for what I want to do. But I want this to be a little darker because it is the darkest of the light spot, if that makes any sense. Because on the edges, there's going to be quite a bit more darkness. So I want this to have a good lightness to it, but also I want it to be toned like that. Kind of light, kind of dark, and certainly down here more dark. And we'll do this real quick. Get some of this paint pushed around. I'm just going for that effect. Pull some of this blue again, and this brown, making a blue-brown. Just want to get some of these tones in here first, this texture, so I can start reading. I'm just pushing and pulling until I find what I like. And there's quite a bit of paint on here. And again, this paint is pretty much on its last leg because it's a whole mix of stuff. So I just want to use what's here as best as I can. And up here on the top, I do have this white here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on right about there. But I also need the blue, some of that in there. I'm going to dab with blue. And normally I try to keep this color stroke on here as much as possible. It's much easier to do for me with, say, words are hard. A medication I take is. So I usually try to get like one brush stroke, that kind of thing. But that's much easier to do with oils. But also, this is, again, this experiment paint, there's quite a bit of it. Just want to get through it. I'll try to be a little bit more intense later. But for now, or more intentional, I should. For now, this will work. It's sort of like the light is coming down into this riverbed down here at the bottom. And the riverbed has sort of like a purplish, grayish tone, from what I can tell. Almost a murky brown. So it wouldn't hurt to just leave the green there, blend it in. I'll pull some of this brown, just straight brown. I'm going to go right around here. I'm going to do this first, and then I'm going to worry about toning up the color. I just want to get like an idea where that river bend kind of thing is. I'm just letting the paint behave how it wants to behave. I'm not trying to push it too hard. It's a little bit of red in here. I'm going for almost a black. But it's still, yeah, that purplish brown hue, that's a bit like more, like almost like a Sierra brown or Sienna brown or whatever it's called. Sienna brown, I believe. I always think Sierra is because I was up there with my wife. So this murky brown tone is what I wanted. Pushing it too. I know it doesn't look much yet. However, I do believe it'll get there. And then maybe push this up. Now this is fine because it's going to be covered anyway. I'm just kind of getting the paint off of the brush just to lighten it up a little bit more. Okay, let's see here. Still trying to block in this color, so I want to do like the darker up front canopy-like effect that's there is sort of this blue, some of that red, get that purpley tone, and pull that brown. Just kind of mix all these together. This is what I'm going for anyway. The brown will help, kind of blacken it up a little bit more, gray tone it. This is as much paint as I need to paint an 8x10. So from now on out, I'm going to be very, very chintzy. The oil's a little different because I can scrape it and put it, and it lasts for a long time. But this is harder. I have to keep it in the fridge. I don't exactly have a lot of room in there for this. So there's not a whole lot of paint here. All right. That's about right. I'm just pulling purple, this brown, this blue, this red to kind of go for like a purpley tone that's tinted down with, or shaded down with just brown. There we go. There's a muddier gray tone. So just for these canopy pieces up here, it still allows that gray to come through, or green. But all right, let's pull this down. All right, just trying to get some of this close, much closer. I'm just, like I said, I'm kind of winging this right now. It's much easier to do acrylics with not a wet canvas, but that's okay. I'm just experimenting, having fun, trying to make sure I can get something usable too. But I would rather not waste the paint and have to pour more than, or squeeze more out than, go through. Having to save this all the time is kind of a pain. So I'm trying to use just what I need as best as I can for the most part. This is very difficult to mix with. Unlike oil, this is a bit more difficult to work with. So I think it'll be fine once this is only the medium gel by itself. I think it'll be fine. But until then, yeah, I almost want this. Hang on, gonna have to pull some of this yellow over here. Oh Lord, this is very difficult to mix right now. I'm just gonna pull this blue in here, much darker hue. There we go. It's almost like a green black, but sure that's what you want to watch is me mixing this crap. Okay, so again, this is just a paint with me having fun, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Pull some of this can. Yeah, there we go. A lot of it. Okay. All right. Just pushing these. Again, I'm just trying to get like that kind of canopy-like effect that's up front. The picture I have. To create depth is what I'm trying to do. The darker values are kind of up front, and they are up front. Darker values. And so in order to capture that and create that depth, I'm trying to lay that in there first with the darker values down. I was going for like a medium tone in the middle at first, then gauge where I'm at, and then just trying to put a little bit of heaviness in here. All right, cool, because I can throw some yellow in there, throwing some green or darker greens in there. I'm going the direction I want to go, more or less. Some yellow greens on top. I'm going to keep pushing until I'm happy. It's got a canopy effect. It's kind of cool, at least I think. I think it works. There's a little bit of greens and stuff in there that I can work in. So I'm going to go towards, let's see, and some darker green like this. Right around, and this, I'll blend some of this in. Perfectly gradient, but just like to give a feel. This is kind of further back, and that definitely needs to have the yellows on there. Also, I like these brushes because I can paint far away, which kind of gives me the illusion that I'm going for while I'm painting. If I want to create the effect that this is a impressionist kind of thing, that's what I like to do when I paint anyway. I can draw like realism and stuff. I also like to draw like comic-y type guys and all that kind of thing. But this is where I get to just kind of goof off and do whatever. Just because I like different styles of stuff. I don't think I'm any master or anything. Just having fun. What is a master, really? Let's see. That's close. That's close where I want to go. I need that green, little tone, little yellow green, definitely white. Yeah, this stuff is wanting to dry on the brush. That's fun. A yellow green somewhere. Now it's just a little bit more blue in the picture, but that's okay. I can adjust what I'm doing. A little more red than I intended. Yellow than I intended. So let's go and do a little dab of blue. That is far more blue than I intended to use. That's okay. And then some of that darker tone here. A little lighter than that, but if I can get that in there. Merry Christmas to those that celebrate the Christmas. Merry, whatever your holiday is. Happy holidays. You know what I mean? Whatever you do. Happy to everyone, to all the things. Whatever brings you guys joy, man. It's cool watching my niece open stuff. Yeah, that's a little better. A little closer. I'd like it to be a little bit more blue than that. A little darker. It's like a stack of a tree, isn't it? Let's go a little yellowy green. Right about. That's more that blue yellow. There, that's a little more interesting. And then I'm going to just drag. Let me throw some of this in here. Probably hear that bouncing off of that. Yeah, I'm just going to keep pushing it until I get where I think it's pretty cute. Not quite there yet. It needs a little bit of detail in the foreground. Color separation, some white in there. But no problem. Check it out. Trying to get that gradient. It's kind of interesting. I was thinking about The Legend of Zelda the other day, and I was thinking like how I was hoping that when I was a kid that was going to be, this would be more like what the game was going to look like. More of a intense greenery with all this beautiful forestry. You don't realize like how limited the 64 was going to be. Man, I thought it was going to be cool. Some of this in here. Highlight it a little bit. It's going to become more tree-like. This also has rain coming down in this picture. I was going to try to emulate that as best I can, but we shall see. Okay, let's get a little closer. Blue this up a little bit. Certain spots, maybe. Throwing some tones. That's kind of fun. Okay, now it's pretty close. What I wanted. This darkness needs to come up a little bit more. Not to worry. I'm trying to load this brush up like really good because I want to get that sense that this is sticking out over. Yeah, that's a little bit. I'm not trying to overly blend it either. I want that. What you normally would go for when you're doing that, if you're trying to go for an impressionist effect, which you usually do, is try to think of it as like a glimpse. Like how your brain sees it in a momentary notice. Like you just, for the first time ever saw it. Just kind of, that's what you're going for. There's no specific technique that gives that. This is just kind of, I'm going for like a combination of loose brush strokes as much as possible, but also like an impressionist kind of a thing. Like stop where I'm happy. Sorry, it's a car door or something out there. Now, there's a lot of yellow in here. I'm just going to give hints of stuff, like a yellow tree over here on the left side. I'm exaggerating that quite a bit. It's my painting. I can do what I want. This is kind of a yellow-green mix here. Just going to try to highlight a little bit. Again, it's my interpretation. I can do what I'd like to do. Starting to get somewhere, I think. And there is some rocks and stuff down here, which are jetting out. And I think I do want to put those there because it'll create like almost like an S-bend effect, which is a cool little thing to do. Get a nice green tone, but I need some more of that brown. So let's take a brown in there. Get off of there. I can do with that. I want this brown to kind of jut out in the front there. It needs to be dark, but also keep some of that interesting texture between the different colors. At least that's the hope. Also, if you can, a toned palette is really nice because you can actually see what it is you're doing. So I want to kind of create a S-bend effect. Make sure I feel like it's going around. That kind of almost like an S. Anyway, that's the idea. Not saying I did that, but to each their own. Some of these mid darker tones in here. It's getting somewhere of a rainbow. Right. Trust the process. Trust the process. How far are we in this video? 44 minutes. I usually try to keep this down to an hour. What can you do? What can you do? Just going for like a violet tone here. A little bit of yellow. Just to get that brown bark-like almost, but a little more blue toned. There we go. Like an aqua blue. Or whatever color you want to think of that as. Not aqua, but like teal. Something like that is. Is it going to be dark enough? I don't know. It's a little bit more interesting, I think. That way you get a highlight on the one side. That was a little bit more interesting to me. Sorry I jump around with voices and stuff because I don't know why. I'm crazy. But I'm not I really am not trying to make fun of anyone. I'm actually doing it because they say sincere is form flattery and all. I do a lot of, actually voice act too. Not professionally, but for an animation series called Pet Peeves. I've done, I almost want to call it quits there, but I do want to throw some highlights. My point was, I am not doing it to be disrespectful. If I offended you in some way, please let me know. I'm not trying to. I am trying to be funny, but I'm not trying to offend anyone either. Like, I just want to hang out, man. Have a good time. This is my meditation time, you know? This is when I do all the things. Just kind of dabbing this on here to get, like, some lazy highlight effects. This in here. That way, the light feels like it's hitting a little bit of those branches on the sides there, and maybe push this out. Oh, that should be much darker than that. Let me just see what I can do. I'm gonna pull this brown in here, this yellow. I really hate to use actual green here. There's not a whole lot of. I don't need any more green, you know. I'm like, no, not pushing it as far as I'd like to. Ow, that was my. All right, let's do something like this. This is meant to be the water, and I think that is good. I just want to throw some highlights of whites and yellows and some greens. I didn't quite push this out. I don't have a lot of room for the way that this is. I'm not trying to excuse myself, but there's not a lot of room to work on this canvas. So gotta do what you gotta do. I'm really trying to see. I keep seeing reflection of the light, almost like a gray tone. I wanted to push some of that in here. This is fine. I can be a little nitpicky. The other thing is too, that's really interesting, is to use a fat brush like this, and it kind of forces you to think about where your strokes are going to go and how all that's going to work together. And that's about it. Get this paint. Yeah, this is definitely behaving more like acrylic ones too. Not quite as oily feeling as it was the one day. Just telling you. Let me just, I'm going to clean this brush off really good. A little bit too much paint, starting to dry up too much. Now we're good. One thing I do like about acrylics is it clean really easily, so that's fun. Let's see. I'm going to try to be sarcastic. I'm serious. It's nice. It is fun, but it's easy to clean. Let me go for this really light lemony yellow highlight if I can. I want it to be really bright, if possible. In certain spots, we got it there. You know, just like over here. Kind of like the light is shining through as the intent's going to work, or it's the yellowing leaves. It's fine too. Again, I just keep pushing until I'm happy. So it's a little bright for the middle section there, and for the top it's a little bright, so I'm gonna go a little green here. If you have a tone canvas, or I'm sorry, a tone palette, it's much easier to tell, like a gray or a tan, much easier to tell where your value is for your highlight, like that right there. This isn't terrible, but it's a little much. And the differences in the texture like this, the different highlight tones and stuff, will give it a sense of texture. My limited experience gives you a better feel that this is sort of chilling there. Branches of life texture, kind of Bob Rossing, basically just touching the canvas and with the brush in a way to create the effect of branches or leaves anyway in this case. Some interesting color. I'm going to try to go with the darkness again here in the middle. I'm going to go to this brown, a red, maybe some more blue, and trying to get that grayer tone. It's basically this right here. So I'm going for like a violet, more or less, and then brown should give me that color, that darker blue that I was using earlier, or at least close to it. It 100% does not have to be the same. Actually, it's better if it's not. It'll create that effect that it's good texture. Well, may not be what I would call perfect. There you go. That's a little mixing in the. I did want that darkness here. That's a little more interesting. I think if I can get it a little darker, I'd be a happy camper. Actually, there's still some left on here. Let me try to get this off of here. Yeah, there we go. I have this last little glob. Mix that up there, just to kind of offset the tones. I don't know quite where I was hoping to go, but whatever. A little bit more darkness than that, but oh well. Gonna have to put the brown back down. When in doubt, put the brown down. I need that hue, if you can call it that. I do want a muddier brown. I'm trying to get it darker than that. Just trying to clean this paint off of the brush real quick, but also keep it on canvas, not just get rid of it. It's like a grayer tone here. All right. It's a little browner. A little browner. There we go. At least that's what I'm hoping. That's what I want. Just to put that canopy effect back in here. I like I'm picking that up. Green here in the front, this yellowy green. Sort of this stuff here. Patches. Kind of mix this together. There we go. It looks like it's wrapping around is what I was going for. And look, I'm never trying to make a masterpiece, okay? I'm just painting what I feel looks good. And that's just my advice. Like, if you want to paint perfectly, by all means. I mean, I'm not saying paint what you don't want to paint, but I'm just trying to say, like, I don't approach it that way. I don't think, like, the only way this is going to look good is if it's absolutely perfect in my mind. Just kind of paint whatever. Roll, man. Because I don't, like I said, I don't approach it with perfection in mind. At least that's just my... You do what you want. I don't see the point in it. There's no... For me, it's not just about, like, self-expression. A lot of people feel that way. Art's about self-expression. It's fine if you feel that way. But it's also a way for me to just kind of meditate, chill, not overthink things. I analyze a lot of stuff, and this is just something that lets me relax a little bit. Very much an engineer mindset as a person. So this helps me to kind of, like, stop doing that and just relax a little bit. That's pretty good. So yeah, I'm not trying to paint a masterpiece. I'm just trying to have a little fun, not overthink it. Hopefully paint something somebody likes. I mean, they all can't be winners. So why even try? Just paint. You know, just iteratively draw or iteratively paint or whatever. This means to do it all the time. You know, just do it often. You know, you draw, like, iterative painting or drawing is to say that you draw the same thing over and over again, either in a row or by, like, day by day or whatever. Let's say one day you decide you want to draw a skull and you draw, like, you know, a bunch of human skulls, the same human skull over and over again until you sort of learn what makes it tick. And then you kind of get better at drawing human skulls. And then you just keep working like that. The idea is that you can learn instinctively without having to think too much about what you're doing. And that's fine to do that too. But also, like, forgive yourself, man. I mean, really, I'm not just trying to be, you know, that I really do mean that. Just forgive yourself sometimes. Like, the world's hard enough for you to be hard on yourself all the time. It should be a chill time. If you're seeking perfection from art, you're going to set yourself up for it. It's kind of, one thing is going to slow you down. You know, iterative drawing and painting and stuff, just like getting it done, in my opinion, is a much faster way to learn because they've done studies on people who try to paint the perfect picture one time versus those who paint over and over different pictures. They learn more. So just fail gracefully, you know, as a bass player on YouTube says, embrace the suck. And I mean, he's not wrong. It's okay not to hold yourself to such a high standard. Just try to learn as much as you can. You know, be forgiving. Like I said, don't, like, learn, obviously, challenge yourself, but don't kick your own ass. There's plenty enough of that in the world. Trust me. You get your ass kicked by the world all the time. Don't worry about that. It'll do it for you. I mean, I'm harsh on myself too. I'm not going to act like I'm not. I try to be kinder to myself as time goes on. You know, more relaxing. Relax, you know, chill. I try to chill more. Chill. That's what this is. This is a paint and chill. I was a little off today. It's Christmas and I'm not quite on my game today. I didn't sleep much. Took a little bit of a nap. I still felt like it's been a couple of days. I haven't painted. I better go out here and paint something. Again, to practice for one, and the other just to do something, just to have done it. It's better to have done it than not to have done it at all. So get her done. If you want the impression of the rocks that are here, throw a little bit of that tone in there. And I'm just going to throw this brown back there. You don't have to go this detailed, but the funny thing is, if you use a brush like this, that's too big for your canvas, basically, what it ends up doing is forcing you to hold back, and you start to see impressionism, or at least looseness. More looseness will come from pulling back like this, if that's your goal. If that's not your goal, that's fine. It's mine, because I think it's fun. It doesn't always have to be like perfectly like loose strokes either. I do gradients and stuff like that too, but I'm really kind of just going for like color, and it's a fun way to look and be like, did I get the color right, more or less? And if you did, my idea is to try to make you follow your line vision to the centerpiece here. Hopefully I did that. And yeah, I'm serious. Be kind to yourself. The world is harsh enough. Practice is what I'm trying to say. Practice, but be forgiving. Like if you don't get something right away, you're probably American schools screwed us up for failure. Like failure is a good thing. Like not in a bad. I don't mean like you don't want to fail when there's a bomb going off or something. But I'm saying like the only way for you to learn is to fail, and the way we get tested in school because it makes you feel like you're a failure. But the real reason is you don't get enough time to study, or you didn't study enough, and then you get to the point where I have to take this test, and I didn't know what I was doing. It's not really a pass-fail in my mind. I don't know. Let me say this. I always used to say, if you fail gracefully, learn from your mistake, and just know, if you study ahead of an exam, you're failing. You don't know right away how to do anything. You learn, all right? Learning is failing. You don't know it, and then you do somehow. But if you seek perfection the first time you try something, we always do that in classrooms. We're like, hey, man, what's the answer to number 5? I don't know. Just learned it today. I don't remember what the hell we're even talking about. So, like, it's fine to just not know what it is you are doing. I'm going to do one last thing. It's okay to just, like I said, it's okay to fail. Just fail. Learn. Just learn from whatever it is you can say. And what is failure, though, really? You didn't know how to do something? Or did you die? Did you die? You can come back from it. If you died, then sure. I'm going to pull that down a little. Get that dark gray. And maybe one last little thing I might do. A little bit of just like this. Put a little texture up in this section here. It works okay for me. Oh, wait, I think that's a little better. This could be darkened more here. More of that hue can come. Okay. I got one more thing I want to try. Oh no, getting crap all over me. Seriously, practice with intent is one of the most important things. If you practice with intent, you'll feel you're learning. You're gonna feel upward that way. That's a little better, I guess. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Again, I'm not trying to paint a masterpiece. I am just trying to paint something, just to finish something. Practice, practice, practice. Be nice to yourself. This paint is actually quite a bit dry. I just realized I didn't put the slow dry in this. That's why. I'll do it next time. This paint is not behaving the way that I wanted to because you know why? I didn't do it the way I should have. There we go. It's kind of glazing almost. There we go. Try to make your eyes see something a little more interesting. That's why it's drying so fast. I'm like, what the hell is it drying so fast for? I've already put my slow dry in here and now I'm paying for it. That's okay. No worries. That's why it's behaving more like this and not like, yeah, see? Failure. No worries. Let's get some more blue in there. It's coming together too quickly. Last thing. So I'm just going to push some blues in here before it's completely dries on me. Because that blue hue is really nice. Bring up the texture, in my opinion. Put some other blue over here. I guess that just fell off of there. It's nice. There we go. A little darkness in there at least. Yeah, it's kind of a canopy back there. So just a little bit of this in here. I'll glaze over that a little. Again, push pull until I'm happy with it. It's a little nicer there. Now I'm just going to go a little white. There we go. That's kind of more what I wanted. More of a sort of a dramatic transition to the canopy-like thing here. This should be a little tiny darker in the middle. Let's see if I can pull some of this in here. Yeah, it's a little better. Nothing wrong with it. I fail all the time. A little closer to what I was going for. That could stand to be a little whiter, but I might as well do so. A little whiter, I said a little more whiter, which is not what I meant to say. Oh, Lord. It should be a little whiter. Not by much, just like a light yellow, like this. Slight green tone to it. Pretty much give me what. Yeah, I just want the tops of that to look like the light's hitting it. That'll do it, I think. Maybe not the greatest thing I've ever painted, but it's not the worst thing either. Might as well pull some of this green. Let me pull one more thing, which should be good. Some of this is a little too bright. And, yeah, slow dry medium definitely makes a difference. Let me tell you that much. Learned that the hard way, didn't I? I'm going to try to throw some shadows in here because it's really hard to get this to move. I'm going to try to do the shadows first. And then I want to sort of mid-tone it a little bit, or even closer to highlights. And I just want to put a little bit more of that green in there and then push it up with yellow. Okay, it's a bit thick on there. Here, I'm just trying to get this bush to look a little closer. Now, if I can take that same yellow highlight, hopefully, that the yellow green in here. That's about as far as I can take that one. It's not working like I wanted it to because I'm trying to treat these acrylics like as if they are oils, and they're not, because I didn't use, I mean, they're not oils anyway, but I didn't use the slow dry. I had it on the green, and I thought maybe it would mix a little the green background. It didn't, just for the record. All right, that's going to have to be it. It's going to have to do. So, what did we learn today? Today I learned, make sure, I had this gloss heavy I wanted to actually use. I didn't use it. I was going to use it with the slow dry medium, this gel slow dry medium, which is all you really need, but I figure I have that left, so I figure I'd use it. As I said, I always paint with one brush when I paint like this. Mostly, though, make sure you prep right. Preparation H. And otherwise, not too bad. I mean, listen, push, pull. Give yourself some credit, Trust the process. Let things happen. I mean, it's not absolutely terrible. Not the best thing I've painted either. But then again, at the same time, somebody might see it and think, that's pretty fantastic. I like that. I don't know. When I step back, the thing that I like to do is to look away from it for a minute, then to step back and look at it and look at, is it interesting to look at? It could use some more texture, honestly. It is what it is. I think for what I was going for, cool. You know what? Let's just move on. Next one. If you made it so far, I very much appreciate you hanging out. I'm going to do a few more of these videos and see if there's any more traction or see if there's any traction. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Please leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Is it terrible? What would you change? Anything. I don't care. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Or you might, but I won't say anything about it. No, I'm kidding. If you have anything to say, go ahead, please let me know. Otherwise, subscribe, like, make sure you comment, and share it with all your friends. If you made it this far, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one.